The Red Sox cruise into the All-Star break in first place. Right field is one big question mark. And a recap of Boston Sports Blogapalooza. The Red Sox Alley show begins right now. Welcome to the All-Star break edition of Red Sox Alley. Flanagan, about time you're in the studio.
Yeah, I took a little vacation for the last 6 months, I guess.
Seems like in a corner.
Where were you, Fiji, or?
I was at an undisclosed location.
Did you take the helicopter, or did you?
Yeah, the Red Sox Alley helicopter. Yeah.
Oh, that's where it went.
Did it ever occur to you that
anytime we want to,
Did it ever occur to you that Gordon and I might want to take a trip somewhere?
And it's free now.
Yeah, but we couldn't find you.
It's available.
It's available.
Well, I wanted it last week, and you couldn't find it.
Well, now we know where it is.
Yeah, we were gonna go to a game in a helicopter, like Robert Kraft comes in this helicopter
to Foxborough.
To Foxborough, yeah. We were gonna do that. We were gonna do that at Fenway.
That's the only way to travel.
Yeah. So the Sox are.
There's Gordon Flanagan coming in.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's try that. So the Sox are in first place.
First place.
As predicted, right?
Well, I mean, goes without saying.
Hey.
The thing is,
good.
I can remember in years past, they would limp into the All-Star break. It seemed like on that last Sunday, they'd be hoping that the game would be over, not really caring if they won or lost. They just want to get the break started. And here they are. After interleague play, they caught fire again.
Mm-hmm. They caught fire again.
Yep.
2 brawls in a row, too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Now, is that just a case of Baltimore, their season is over, they're just getting really feisty? It can't be a rivalry. It's not a rivalry.
True.
Right.
True. Well, I think part of it is Showalter's what.
Mm-hmm.
Attitude? Yeah, complaining about the Red Sox payroll in the offseason. And, if the team's losing, they're losing bad. And, they just get a little bit antsy.
Right? And it isn't the Red Sox payroll that's winning. I mean, except for Gonzalez and Beckett, what big money free agents are really...
Right, and my understanding
their
is...
Their best players are the guys that are coming up from the minor league system.
And 4 out of the 5 starting pitching rotation guys have either been injured or are injured.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And one of them's out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Lackey's ERA is through the roof, although he pitched well the other day.
He's right now your ace, right?
Well, I would say
just
Beckett.
Let's say Beckett's on the... Is he on the DL?
No, he was cleared to play.
Okay, so, all right, technically not on the DL.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Lackey would be your...
And except for Gonzalez, they're arguably the best 4 or 5 players have come up through the minor league system.
Mm-hmm.
So Showalter's comment about, anybody can be a good general manager if he had his money, Boston's money, that doesn't hold.
Right.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the acquisition of Aceves in the offseason? Did you think he would make an impact at all? Do you have an idea?
I guess I didn't think a ton of it.
I didn't think anything of it, but he's certainly working now.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I knew he had a lot of wins, and he had 1 loss with the Yankees.
Right.
And he seemed to have good stuff. I know he had an injury, and then he had, I think, an injury that happened during the offseason, which required some type of procedure. So the Yankees obviously, really didn't want to take a chance on him, or they'd rather put their money elsewhere. But I thought he was a good pickup. I looked at his record for the Yankees, and it seemed like he threw good stuff. And, he's been a great acquisition. He's done it all.
And he won the game last night, taking over for Wheeland, right?
Yeah,
for, getting kicked out. Because Wheeland was throwing at the guy, in a 6-6 tie, right?
Yeah.
With a changeup.
Yeah, with runners on first and second.
Right.
A rookie in his very first game in the major league is going to throw at a guy.
I wonder how many rookies
with a chance of winning the game, getting a victory.
I wonder how many guys have been kicked out of their first game.
I don't know, but it was the right place at the right time.
Yeah. It's a way to endear yourself to
these
the fans.
umpires. They don't have a feel for the game.
Yeah, I mean, they show arrogance by their actions.
I was watching ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, and it was the day after the 4th of July. And they had said, so far in July, 15 players and managers have been kicked out of games.
15?
In 5 days. That's 3 a day. I don't know if they're still going at that pace. This weekend they certainly were.
Yeah.
They kicked out 4 guys yesterday in the Boston. But what is with these umpires? What is the matter with these guys? They're out of control.
And did you notice, not only that out of control, but for the second time in a week, we've had a 3-ball walk in a game
Yeah.
where the umpires lost track of the count. In the first game, the scoreboard said 3 balls when it should have been 2. The guy walked, scored the winning run of the game.
What kind
And
of
that happened again yesterday.
Right.
what kind of medication are these guys on?
I don't
They're
understand
awful.
how could no one know that a walk was
Somebody
3 balls?
finally said it. Chipper Jones a player finally said it. These guys they're not.
I mean,
they're
I
below,
sometimes
they're below
lose-
standard.
I sometimes lose track of the balls and strikes, but
Yeah,
I'm
you-
sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
I paid money to be there.
If you're watching the game,
If I want to lose track, that's fine.
if you're watching the game, do you know the count? Every pitch?
No.
Do you?
No.
I mean, I pretty much keep track. I mean, I can pretty
Yeah.
much all.
I know
I
pretty
know
much,
what the
yeah.
count is when the pitch is thrown. At the game, it's a little more difficult. I mean, you've got. Well, I mean, you do have.
There's a lot of stuff going
there's
on.
a lot of
right?
stuff going on. Even though you have balls and strikes, in several
I
locations
must say, I
at
look
the
at the
park.
scoreboard.
I don't have a problem with an umpire making a mistake, but that's part of the game. It's like the weather. I was just talking to Flanagan before about they were showing the 1971 All-Star game. Reggie Jackson hit this is probably the longest home run ever up until that time. This is before the steroid era, 600 feet or something like that. And the wind was blowing way out. What if the wind was blowing in? I mean, an umpire mistake can be. It's just
Right.
it's
I can see an
I can
umpire
have, I
mis-
cannot.
yeah.
I don't understand. A player can't turn around and look at an umpire or disagree with him without being threatened to get
Right.
kicked. He takes his mask off. He's ready for a confrontation.
But see,
Pointing at them. They're ready to throw everybody out of the game.
so what's happening in a case like this where it's should be 3-0 or whatever the count is, should be 3 balls, and they walk the guy? Isn't anybody saying, "Oh, hold on a second"?
Someone
Is everybody
should.
else not paying attention?
Someone
too?
should.
Or
I mean, the
Is that-
umpires. He's got a clicker. That means
how about
he's
the
lost
benches?
track.
How about-
Well, I think the umpire thinks, I must have missed the pitch. The scoreboard must be right. Take your base. What else could it be? The umpire,
How about
the
the
umpire thinks he
benches?
missed one. That's ridiculous.
how about the benches? The managers,
Yeah,
coaches,
they count
everybody's.
they count every pitch, don't they?
Right.
They have a pitch by pitch statistic since I don't know last 5 years.
So if somebody's saying, "Hey, wait a minute, hold on, he's not supposed to take a base,"
It's crazy.
so you can't even say that.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody did,
They might have lost count themselves.
or they think I must have lost count because the scoreboard must be right. Take your base. I
Right.
don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The umpire, wait a minute.
Sounds
And
simple.
ask for help from another umpire. Do you know what the count was? But you know what? They're afraid to look silly.
Right.
They're afraid they'll get together. What are the umpires getting together about? Because they don't know what the count is. They're afraid to look silly. That's what it is.
But they're determining the outcomes of games now. They're throwing so many guys out. That's what bothers me.
Yeah.
A mistake is no different than an error. If an umpire makes a mistake, that's no more severe than a player making an error. Dustin Pedroia, he made that error. They lost a game. Remember that a couple weeks ago in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, when under his legs.
Went between his,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that happens, and umpires make mistakes. That happens too.
Do they
It's every time a player argues with them now, they get thrown out of the
Right.
out of the game. You can't. When you throw a guy out, okay, you're determining the outcome of the game, not the player.
All right, I hate to bring this into the argument, but would this be an instance where instant replay would benefit the game?
Well, you guys are talking about two different things. You guys are talking about mistakes that umpires make. I'm
Right.
talking about this attitude they seem to have whenever they're challenged. You're in danger of being thrown out of the game.
I guess there's a tie-in. I mean,
You know?
there's where a bench could say, "Hey, I think there's only 3 balls, not 4," and they go into the replay and say, "1, 2, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
only 3."
Well, would that be a case of the manager arguing balls and strikes? And if you do that, you get ejected immediately?
Right. There you go. So that's probably why. I don't know. It's just an odd thing.
I mean,
that it would
as a
happen.
hitter, I guess as a hitter, you want to
Yeah.
take your base if you can.
Yeah, I don't.
Right,
get on.
you're not gonna say, "Oh no, it was only 3 balls."
Yeah, and then you
I'm
strike
gonna
out.
stay right here.
Yeah, the thing with the mistakes, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they need to get better umpires, but just
Is the player themselves sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, maybe it was," or they just? I mean, you don't want to say it's bush league, but umpire told you to take your base. You're just gonna stay quiet, right?
Maybe
just,
the rules don't.
Just as if
Well, I guess the rules
you were
don't allow
called
it.
safe, but yeah, maybe.
I mean, what happens with a catcher? A catcher can't turn around and question an umpire because he may become his enemy and he might get called out.
And
on
who
strikes
knows?
next
Maybe
time
they did say, "Hey, are you
you know,
sure that wasn't
it's-
3?" And they, no, it's 4.
Yeah.
Maybe it was as easy as, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
it was that.
I mean, can they? I don't even know if they can defer to the official score. He knows.
Right.
I'm next time that happens, and I'm at a game.
To be continued.
I'm going to tweet to the. I'm going to actually text message to the stadium security where if someone's being obnoxious in front of you, you can text message to them anonymously. I'm going to text message. That was ball 3, you idiot.
What are they doing? They're gonna kick the ump out of the game.
I don't know.
That's another thing. Do umpires get disciplined? I know. If they do, it's behind the scenes.
Right. I think they might get fined
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably
Take
keep
them
it
out of
quiet.
certain. Well, I guess that goes towards your whole scoring. Maybe you don't do the playoffs, or
Yeah,
I know in football they do that.
true. And afterwards, they
Mhm.
make them pay.
Hmm.
Yep. Well, baseball they couldn't do that, right?
But when I was a kid watching games, I don't ever remember an umpire determining the outcome of a game, other than a mistake.
And maybe they did. I just don't remember it being.
I don't
this
remember
rampant.
guys ever getting thrown out just for arguing.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were jumping up and down, screaming and yelling, cursing and swearing, yeah, of course, you got to have order in the park. But just for arguing, no, you're out.
Well, you wonder why.
Not all the time, but
Right.
sometimes.
In the first game the game last week where the 3-ball walk literally determined the outcome of the game, you wonder why it wasn't then protested.
Right.
You know,
I
because-
think
because-
MLB
because-
put out an apology for that one, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a manager, you can not argue balls and strikes, but at the same time, I'm assuming you could notify the umpire that we are playing this game under protest. The game ends, then that protest is heard, and obviously in every case that I know of, they've overruled it. But this is a case where they could have,
Yeah. Imagine
Well-
losing out on a playoff spot by a game.
yeah.
I don't
So
know. Who
what do
the
you think's
teams
causing
are.
all this? There's two things going on here. The umpires seem to be making more mistakes. I don't know if they really are or not. They seem to be, and they just don't have any. They got a short fuse. They
Or
just-
is it just more publicized because everything's got a spotlight on it? Media's all over the place.
I think the
Is that
umpires.
why we think there's more?
I think they're still mad because of Quest Tech, because they've been under the microscope for a couple of years, because now they're one set of umpires, period, not American League, National League. I just think, the union was pretty much broken up successfully by MLB, and I think they still resent it.
well, they're terrible.
Yeah,
There's
I
some
saw
good
this-
ones out there, but
Yeah.
a lot of them are terrible.
Yep, yep. And Jeff Joyce, the one that messed up the almost no-hitter last year,
Right.
he made a mistake. He admitted it. There's no big deal. You're
That's
right
an
about
honest
that.
mistake.
You're right. You're right about that.
Everybody does it. Managers make it. Players make it. An umpire making a bad call is no different than a player making an error. You expect it.
Right, right.
You expect
It is
it
a
one-
game played by humans.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.